I've asked publicly many times, leave Tiger and the family alone. He needs to recover. Leave the kids alone, because I'm the lifeguard that protects those children for their lives. I haven't been given the contract yet, but I'm asking for it. There's another young man who I've known since 2. His father died of cancer. When he was 2, Frankie would go to school and he would say, the kids would ask him, who's that? Who's that guy? He says, oh, that's my lifeguard. That's all he knew. I was his lifeguard. Frankie is now 11 or 12. 11. He's 11. He's brilliant. He's technically brilliant. I am so lucky that I get to go and talk with this young man whenever I feel like it. I walk into his house, his environment, and his mother's environment, and I listen. And this kid says, hey, Steve, have you seen this on YouTube? Hey, Steve, have you seen this on Skype? Hey, Steve, look at this. Hey, Steve, listen to this. Hey, Steve, hey, Steve, hey, Steve. I worked at the beach while I was retired at 170 North Ocean, and all day long, all the kids said was, hey, Steve, come watch this. I've taught the Who's Who's children to swim on the island of Palm Beach for a reason. I gave a shit. I cared about them. When a particular family had a problem one day, I was walking down past the Breakers Hotel at the end of the day, and the kids ran towards me because I've taught them to swim. The nanny paid no attention, zero attention, zero attention. It wasn't her fault. It was my fault. The kids ran to me because of the history. I walked further down the beach. I called their mother. I told her what the situation was. She thanked me. Here's karma for you. 2 days later, we went past their oceanfront house on my bicycle, the black one, because the red one was getting serviced, and the front door to their oceanfront house was open. I closed it. I called Danny and I said, hey, I just closed the door to your front house, the front door of your house. You're welcome. Have a good day. Powerade. Electrolytes. You've got to have your electrolytes, kids. You've got to eat bananas, people. You've got to stay healthy. You've got to exercise. You've got to walk. You've got to think. You've got to have a team. You've got to be connected. We have proved today through Facebook, through everything, that everything I've talked about is true. We got to a point where it wouldn't let me upload the answers, but the answers are on my computer because I've written the mathematical code, and I think I've got some of the other codes figured out. We know why that valve failed, why that valve failed underwater with all the oil coming out of it. It failed because they cut corners. They cheated the system. I happen to know this. I sat on the plane next to the man who was going to New Zealand to drill, to check the line, to borescope the lines for the other thing. I sat on a plane with another man named Stephen who works somewhere else, and we talked about a few other things too, and he has a pin and a Kiwi Magic Motorsport t-shirt, and he will be coming in-house. And I guess we'll need to spend some time in DC, because I'm going to have a chat with Mr. Obama. I'm going to have a chat with President Obama. And Fox News, you need to show the man the respect he has earned. He is the President of the United States. I don't care what color he is. I don't care what his political views are. I care about this country. I care about the people. You need to stop fighting. It is time. It is time we put some good news back on television. We put good news back on television globally. This is what we're doing. Bad news, bad ratings. That is the new standard. We want some good news. Who cares about who's sleeping with who? It's none of your damn business. Who cares what Brad Pitt does? Who cares what Angelina does? Who cares what Jennifer Aniston does? Well, I do. Who cares what Nicole Simpson does? Or Ashley Simpson? Well, I do, actually. Who cares what Jessica Simpson does? Well, I do, because Jessica's hot. Hey, Jessica, give me a call anytime you want to have a ring. You want to have a ring. Sorry, anytime you want to have a chat. I'd like for you to come and have dinner at Kachina. I just want to listen to you. She's a wonderful girl. I understand her. She's a good businesswoman. She knows what she's about. She's no nonsense. Miss O, Miss Winfrey, when you would like me to be a guest, give me a ring. And just remember, I come from WRPBITV.com. We are the leaders. This little mum and pop radio station, a television station, are the leaders in this country. Palm, signature limousine of the Palm Beaches, is a mum and pop limousine company that I drive for because I love it. I get paid to wait, I get paid to rest, and I get paid to practice my racing skills and my driving skills, and I get to talk to my clients, and I get to talk to great people. Most of all, I get to listen. And when I get bored, I go to the beach and I take a walk. I would like the people that met me yesterday on the beach, every one of them to come forward, including Rachel, including the other girls, including the three boys with the tattoos, including Ricardo, because my brother's name is Richard Carl Vlasblom. He flew into New Zealand. He drove me to Hampton Downs Raceway because he knew I needed to look at the racetrack. He knew, he'd figured it out. I asked him nicely. He organised a car. I bet you dime to a dollar Main Freight picked up the tab. Thank you, Main Freight. Thank you, Bruce Plessard. Thank you, Don Braid. Thank you, John Hepworth. John, we need to have a chat about Global Freight because I have a customer for you, a gentleman that I had lunch with yesterday. It's the gentleman that invited me off the beach up to his cabana because he knew I was dehydrated. He knew I needed a beer, and he knew I needed something to eat. This is what happened yesterday in Palm Beach, Florida. There is a strategic point. There's a reason I'm in Palm Beach. I'm halfway to India. I'm just a simple man. I am nothing special. I'm just a boy with a dream. Life is only about two things for me, as I am a simple man. Time and people. If you make the right time for the right people, you will reach any goal the team sets. The pleasure of meeting you was mine. Winning is planned. Warmest regards, Kiwi Steve. That's the simple English one for the young people. There's a little bit more advanced one for the older people that says, look, it's really simple. It's about fluid dynamics and carbon compression. It's about time in motion. It's about time and people in motion. It is about a collective group of individuals working together with a common goal. It's about love. It's about World Superbike racing. Who predicted who would win the second race at World Superbike racing today?
Well, I wish I could say it was me, but it was this guy to my left right here. He called
And
me.
what was the number on the bike?
It was number 3, and Steve called me as we were watching the race, and he predicted it a long time before it happened. And
I predicted it in the first race, didn't I?
Yep. And
what did you think? Had I done my homework?
I didn't believe him at first, but you know what? I can attest to the fact that it's true and that it did happen.
Well, let's go back another one. Let's go back to Daytona with Kevin Coughlin. When Coughlin was riding for us at Daytona, I took Coughlin aside and I said, listen to this. And we're standing behind the big toolbox that we have from pitboxes.com and Fly Racing and Arai Helmets and Tools and Aussie Dave and Gadget Tech, and Pippins has got some stuff and it's pretty amazing. And I said, listen, because Pascal Picard was talking. Pascal Picard was talking about coming through the bus stop chicane and getting back up onto the banking. And you should have seen Coughlin's eyes go like this. And Kevin Coughlin is riding in MotoGP 2. Mm-hmm. And he's going to come back to the fold, and he's going to become a MotoGP rider for us. We're going to have the AMA Superbike team. We're going to put Kiwis Care logos on every bike on an AMA grid. This was my marketing plan from the beginning. Every motorcycle will get some decals. They'll get decals for the trucks. decals for their transporters, and as soon as we can, we'll put a little money in their pocket so they can buy a meal. Because I know what it's like to struggle. I know what it's like to make peanut butter sandwiches on the dashboard when you drive across country, but I remember every person that's ever helped me. Thank you, Mr. Crumpler. Thank you, Mr. Andrus. Thank you, every family. Let's have some iced tea. Let's have some sweet tea. Go ask Craig Crumpler if he's got a gold toothpick from me. Because when I retired from Team Yamaha Endurance, I got Mr. Crumpler a gold toothpick. I got him out of the sport because it was costing him too much money. I went off and worked for the Fastline Suzuki program and Jeff Stern. Jeff Stern taught me a lot of stuff. He beat on me, he picked me up, and he was good to me. Then I went forward and worked with David Sadowski Sr. after he'd lost his factory ride because he'd been stupid, and we won't go into that. David Jr., this is your last warning. This is your third warning. You need to return every nut, bolt, washer, and screw on the stolen R6 that you have. If you return it, I will not release the warrants to the AMA or through the North Carolina State Police, and you will not go to jail. But you need to return the motorcycle, every nut, bolt, and screw. Matthew, you were there at Jamie's shop, Jamie James Productions, when the bike was loaded. I cannot blame you for the sins of your brother, and I cannot punish David Jr. for the sins of his father. The agreement we made in the truck when you were down here driving the race cars in the media tour was your father was not included in your program. David Jr., he got in your head, he messed with your head. You were all screwed up at Daytona. Yes, you won the race, who cares? You didn't do the work. You wanted everything handed to you on a silver platter. That's why I closed your program. That's why I stopped your program, and I helped Tyler Odom, and I helped Aussie Dave. I said to Yamaha, I asked Mr. Halverson, make me a list of all the riders you want to help. I still haven't got the list. I asked Lenny Lubin the same thing. Lenny did one better. Lenny Lubin from Racetech introduced me face to face to the people I needed. The most popular cameraman in the world is Edward Carr from iQuest Productions. Greg White is an idiot. Get Greg White off television or re-educate him. Teach Greg White to remember where he came from. Scott Russell's doing wonders on Speed Vision. Ralph Shaheen did wonders. Scott Russell, when we get the other car built, I would like to invite you, Mr. Russell, to be my teammate in the race car because I know you've been training. We had a wonderful chat at Fontana, and you and I have been friends since the beginning. Scott, I remember in the Daytona 200 when you looked around and it was you, me, and Miguel. Yeah, I was being lapped. You were so surprised to see me sitting there. You had that big smile on your face. I remember, Scott, when you scrubbed in 2 race tyres for me to use that came from Medley. I remember everything Rob Muzzy said to me. I was Rob Muzzy's 501c. I did some of the testing. Danny Hull, you're wonderful. What are you cooking for lunch?
I got it at lunch.